The countries listed here are not my top 6, nor my prediction list of countries, but they were selected based on my subscribers' request asking me what are their chances in getting the crown. So I made 2 analyses, one for the Chinese astrology and the other one for Western astrology, but both of them I incorporated my card reading. I've got 2 main focus of my study for the Chinese astrology. Take note that the study on Chinese astrology is based on lunar movement in relation to Earth. So number 1 focus is the candidate's personal luck. The second one is the country's luck or SAS luck in pageantry. Why did I include the country's luck or personal luck or the SAS luck? It's because the contestant or the candidate is not being called by their personal name, but by their country which they represent. In fact, the country's luck or SAS luck in pageantry weighs more in our analysis here than the personal luck. So, looking at the chart, one might ask, what does it mean by favorable or less favorable, more favorable, and most favorable? Okay, let's start with the SAS luck or country's luck, because the personal luck and SAS luck differs in meaning in terms of favorable. Now let's start with less favorable in the SAS luck. SAS luck, less favorable means the candidate has to focus on perfection, meaning the candidate has to leave no stone unturned. For favorable, the candidate has to be mindful from the swimsuit competition, the gown competition, and the final Q&A. And for the more favorable, under the SAS luck, means the candidate has to be mindful from the gown competition until the final Q&A. And for the most favorable, under the SAS luck, means that the candidate has to be mindful during the final Q&A. Now let's talk about the personal luck. What does favorable means? Okay, as I've said, the SAS luck and personal luck means differently. So for the personal luck, the less favorable means the candidate needs a drastic change from her previous performance. Meaning to say the reference would be her national competition performance. So looking at her performance, she needs to have a drastic change in order for her to win during the international competition. Okay, what about favorable for the personal luck? The candidate is required a significant change in just at least one of the skills required during the competition. She has to improve in just one aspect of her presentation skills while being mindful of maintaining that high level of performance for the rest of her skills. So that is what is favorable means. The next one is more favorable. What does it mean for more favorable for personal luck? It means the candidate has to have a laser focus on strengthening a skill that is required in the competition. And lastly, we have the most favorable for the personal luck. So what does it mean by the most favorable? Meaning the candidate has to be mindful of maintaining that high level of skills that she already possesses. Okay? So anong ibig sabihin nito? Okay, balikan ko. Ang personal luck, kung sa kanyang personal luck is least favorable, kailangan niyang 180 degrees change from her skills during her national competition. So titingnan niya kung ano talagang kailangan para anong kailangan niyang i-change na 180 degrees. So drastic change While sa favorable, ano ang i-level up niya na skill? Again, isang skill lang ang required dito sa personal luck. So isang skill lang. So kung less favorable, isang drastic change, 180 degrees change sa isang skill niya based on her previous competition, national competition. So ito namang favorable, isang significant change lang kailangan. So anong ibig sabihin nito? Isang i-level up lang niya, ha? Compared sa less favorable, which is 180 degrees. This one is level up lang. Level up lang. Isang skill i-level up lang niya. So ano ang sa more favorable? Sa more favorable, anong kailangan niyang i-focus lang, i-strengthen niya? So yun. Kung ang dalawa, kailangan pagbabago, sa kanya, strengthening lang. Oo. Ang kailangan. So ano ang sa most favorable? Sa most favorable, sa personal luck, i-maintain lang niya yung skills niya na alam niya. Yun. So dito naman tayo sa saslak. So anong ibig sabihin nito? Yung saslak nag-determine lang kung anong aspeto sa competition na kailangan niyang bantayan. So nalaman natin na okay, yung less favorable, bantayan niya ang lahat na aspeto sa competition na ito from the beginning till the end. And sa favorable, umpisahan lang niya sa swimsuit competition ang kailangan niyang bantayan, gown at saka yung final Q&A. Ang sa more favorable, ang gown at saka final Q&A. So kung most favorable ka, so ang bantayan mo lang yung Q&A. So it helps them where to focus and what aspect they would really focus. Because see, like for example, Philippines and Colombia, they are relatively the same. Personal luck, more favorable. SAS luck, favorable. So let's start with the SAS luck. So going through with the SAS luck, favorable, which means mindful from swimsuit competition, gown competition, and final Q&A. So okay, yun ang magma-mindful ako. Now, ang sa personal luck ko is more favorable. So ano ang ibig sabihin nito? So, ang more favorable, strengthening lang sa isang aspeto na skill kailangan ko. Kung ako si Miss Colombia or Miss Philippines, titingnan ko dito, okay, kailangan ko base sa sasla, kailangan ko sa ang swimsuit, gown o final Q&A. So saan dito ako nga kailangan ko strengthen ang aking communication skills, which is the Q&A, or kailangan ko ba ang wardrobe ko nga ititingnan ko para may wow factor, or yung swimsuit competition, ang pasarela skill ko. So yun, titingnan, isa raman ang kailangan niya, strengthen niya. Hindi gani kailangan, no, again, I repeat, for Colombian Philippines, they doesn't need to change anything. They only have to strengthen it. Okay? So that's the difference. Now for Puerto Rico, Saslak is more favorable. So for more favorable, she has to concentrate only on the gown competition and the final Q&A. So, but ang personal luck niya is favorable lang. So what does it mean? So it means that kailangan niyang i-level up ang isang aspeto. I-level up niya ang isang aspeto nga kailangan niya skills niya during the competition. So, titingnan niya gown and Q&A. So, ano bang kailangan kong i-level up? Is it my Q&A? I think Puerto Rico has good Q&A. So, probably ang gown niya, kailangan niyang titingnan kung may wow factor ba ang gown niya para to get the crown. Right? So simple, but it helps them a guide to where they need to focus. So again, for Miss Thailand and Vietnam, the SAS factor are the same, less favorable. So what did I say for less favorable? It's perfection. It's hard to be perfect. So when it's hard to be perfect, if they cannot, the good thing for this aspect is that if they cannot get the crown, based on the compensatory, they will always have a placement. So with regards to placement, so Thailand, personal luck niya is most favorable while Vietnam is favorable. So most likely Thailand has a better placement compared to Miss Vietnam. But in terms of winning, she needs to be perfect all the way. For Venezuela, the SAS luck is favorable. The personal luck is favorable. So looking at the SAS luck, which is favorable, mindful of the swimsuit, gown, and final Q&A. And then favorable for the personal luck, meaning to say she has to level up one of the skills during the competition. Okay, that's it, guys. In Western astrology, the focus of study is on the movement of planets and stars in relation to the Earth. And now let's look at the summary. It is pretty straightforward, as you can see, but I just would like to clarify some things here because it is easily misinterpreted. Just because there is no crown in their favor, it doesn't mean that it is not possible for them to win a crown. That is a wrong interpretation, because it simply means that, like Colombia, she has high placement but no crown. It only means that she has to do better in her performance with regards to her previous competition in order for her to win. Like for Thailand and Vietnam, for example, since their favor is placement to high only, meaning there is a need for a drastic change in order for them to win the crown. In summary, for Western horoscope, the possibility of winning is there, but they just differ on how much effort and changes they have to do in order for them to win.